Hi, welcome to Rick Snider's Washington on YouTube, where you get the whole story. So please like, share, and subscribe. Always helps. All right, today I thought I'd talk about somebody that the Washington Redskins drafted so far back you'd never imagine these guys could play. But maybe it was one of their best draft picks overall. I'm talking Chris Hanburger, 18th round. Okay, 18th round. I know the league was a few teams shorter. Maybe that'd have been a 16th rounder now, except we only go past 7. But 1965, the Hangman comes to town. One of the dominant physical outside linebackers this team has ever had. Matter of fact, when they put him on the Washington Ring of Fame, there was only one other linebacker up there in that stadium, Sam Huff. But Chris Linebacker was an awesome player. And I was mostly a kid, teenager. I didn't cover him personally, but I have had a chance to meet Chris a few times. Still not the most talkative soul. He was a tough personality then and now. You know, he'd still knock you out. He went into the Hall of Fame at age, basically he's a week short of 70. And that was years ago. That was 2011, so that's 10 years ago. He's now retired down in North Carolina. But I met the guy, you know, after his career was interesting. He actually had a lot of auto dealerships around Washington, and I can still remember them singing that song, Chris Hanburger Ford. And he actually was a parts manager of a Ford dealership around town after his career. I mean, they didn't pay the guys like they do now. So, you know, he was an interesting guy after his career, too. Hard collar, you know, blue collar kind of guy. My favorite story about him was George Allen loved Chris Hanburger and made him his defensive signal caller. And so Allen, of course, wants you to work 20 hours a day, you know, sleep for 3 and walk the other hour back and forth for exercise. You know, he would send tape, the old reels of tape that you'd put on a home projector. He'd send it home with Chris every night and say, I want you to study this, you know. And Chris was like, I've been here all day, man. I don't want to do this. So he figured out that Allen had left a little slip of paper about halfway through the reel. And so he would go ahead and run it, fast forward, let that thing fall out, and then rewind it, give it back to Allen the next day. And then Allen checks, that piece of paper is gone, so he must have watched the film. That was a good one, man. He got past him on that one. You know, he would go on to play 135 straight games until from 65 to 77 until appendicitis. They had to have an operation and it stopped his streak there. And then he played in 78 and was done. One of the greatest 80 Redskins, 4-time All-Pro. You know, he was just a physical guy that was the smartest player on the field. Tom Landry often said that, you know, he would game plan directly against Hanburger. It wasn't that maybe he was the best player on the field. I don't know. There's a lot of good players, but he was a guy that could figure out what Landry was doing the quickest. That's why they made him a signal caller too. But Chris Hanburger, there's a guy that no one talks about much anymore, but man, he was just one of the best Redskin linebackers of all time, and an 18th round pick. So when you're hollering about who Washington football team is going to, you know, draft this week, and the second, the third, Cameron Curl was a great find last year in the 7th. This dude was in the 18th round, you know, and Washington found a few of those guys like that. So certainly one of the great staple players of that George Allen era of the 70s. I'm Rick Snider for Rick Snider's Washington. Hang in here all week, man. We're talking a lot of NFL draft. I'll see you again soon.